Hello, welcome to your mat. My name is Stacey. Today I'm going to be guiding you through a relax and unwind practice. This time using a few extra props, so we'll be needing a strap for practice today and a yoga bolster if you have one. It can be any shape or size. If you don't have a bolster at home, you can always take any ordinary household pillow, fold it in half lengthwise, and just wrap a towel densely around it, just creating a little bit more of a firm surface for you to rest on later in your practice. Once you have all your props available, I'll meet you here on your mat in a comfortable seated position. And I like to sit up on top of my bolster, just allowing the hips to be at the same height or a little bit above the knees, so that you're able to sit up tall and comfortably. Once you find your props, come to that comfortable seated position. It can be cross-legged, your legs can be out in front of you, or you can even choose to sit on your knees with the bolster beneath your hips. Take hold of your strap and walk your hands wide to the ends of the strap. Arms are straight. Take a big breath in, reach the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, send the arms back behind you, down towards the floor. If you found you weren't feeling much of a stretch there, you can start to walk the hands a little more narrow. Big breath in, reach up. Exhale to lower. The wider the hands are, the less tension you're going to be feeling through the chest and arms. So just choose the width that works for you. Raising the hands up on the in-breath and lowering them on the exhale. Find as much stability as you can through your spine. Keep the lower ribs tucked in. Really isolating the movement to the shoulder joints instead of swaying the torso forwards and backwards here. Stay connected with your breath, lifting up on the inhales and softening on the exhales. And maintain a sense of stability through the wrists. As you come up especially, you're going to feel the wrists start to buckle. See if you can keep them stable and strong. The next time you come through center, pause there. Arms extended up overhead. Take an especially wide grip in the hands here. Wrists are straight, tall spine, shoulders over hips. Big breath in. And as you exhale, start to tip the arms over to the right, coming into a bit of a side stretch. Reach the right hand down towards the floor as the left hand reaches up towards the sky. Keep your heart open to the rim in front of you by scooping the right lower ribs beneath you. You can gaze forward or up to the sky. Press firm through your left hip into your bolster or the floor. Bring your gaze back through neutral. Rise up all the way. On the exhale, opposite side, the left hand comes down towards the floor, right hand reaches up. Maintaining tension on your strap. Press firm through the right hip, lift the lower ribs and the waist on the right up towards the sky. Choose the gaze that feels best in your neck. And keep that right shoulder from creeping up towards your ear. gaze comes back through center. Rise up slowly. Slowly release the arms in front of you. If the legs are crossed, you can cross them in the opposite direction, just to stay even from one side to the other. Take a gentle roll with the shoulders in both directions. Big breath in, reach up. On the exhale, find a twist. Left hand comes onto the right knee. Right hand comes behind you to the low back. Lengthen through your spine first and then go into your twist by gazing over the right shoulder. Keeping the right fingertips, the right palm on the low back or pelvis. Every breath in lengthens, every breath out, maybe you're able to deepen your twist just a little bit. Slowly come back through center. Big breath in, reach up. Exhale, opposite direction, right hand to the left knee, left hand comes behind you, just finding its place on your low back. Have the elbow drawn back behind you as you gaze over the left shoulder. Create as much length as you can, especially through the low back. Notice if you're rounding into a cat-like back. Very minimal pressure on that right hand. You never want to force yourself deeper into a twist than your body is ready for. Slowly come back through center. Take a gentle shoulder roll in both directions. From here, we're going to find our way into a tabletop position. You can turn your bolster so that it goes across your mat. Have your strap nearby at the front of your mat in case you'd like it later. From your tabletop position, shoulders are over the wrist, hips are over the knees. The bolster's just beneath you. Take a big breath in for cow pose. Lift your tailbone, belly drops, heart comes forward and up. Exhale, round your spine, tuck your tailbone, hollow at the chest as you gaze to your belly. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Big breath in, belly lowers, heart comes forward and up. Exhale, press firm through your hands, hollow at the chest, look to your belly. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Find your neutral spine. Walk the knees back a couple of inches. Take a modified plank. From here, we're going to slowly lower down onto your belly, allowing the bolster to support the chest. You can reach back and slide it forwards or backwards, however you need, so that it is supportive but not gouging in or uncomfortable. If you're using a folded up towel or a pillow, you can always adjust it, make it a little more narrow. And if you find the bolster is too much, you can always swap it out at any time for a rolled up blanket or towel. Forearms are on the mat, palms face the floor, with the elbows roughly beneath the shoulders. Your legs extended long, press down through the toenails, reach through the big toes. You can have the feet a little bit wider. That's going to help support your low back, especially if you have sensitivities in that area. Without actually moving them, think about drawing the elbows into the bolster to lengthen your heart forward and up. The bolster is just there as a little bit of an added support to allow the body to feel supported and safe, encouraging it to open up and relax in this pose. Keep the shoulders drawn away from your ears towards the sides of the mat and back behind you. Gaze is forward without pinching into the back of your neck. And keep breathing. Give yourself permission to come out at any time that this becomes too much. Otherwise, just inviting a sense of openness through your chest. Stay active through your legs. Keep pressing the tops of your feet into the floor, drawing the kneecaps up towards your hips. One more big breath here. And we're going to bring the hands onto the mat. Start to lift yourself up, bending through the knees. Coming to a tabletop position. Your knees can go a little bit wider apart. Let the big toes come to touch. Shift your hips back towards your heels. You can see I'm bringing my forearms up onto the bolster here. Start to draw the heart and forehead down towards the mat for a child's pose. Again, just adjusting the bolster however you need so that there's space for your head to find the floor. Letting the arms rest on top of the bolster. Maybe bring a little bit more height into the arms, a little more stretch into the shoulders. Maybe this is all the stretch you can handle. Stay here. Maybe it's too much and you choose to remove the bolster completely. That's also a good option. And if you would like to go a little bit further, we're going to bring the elbows onto the bolster, the forehead still resting on the floor. Start to bend the elbows, reach the fingertips up towards the sky, bringing the hands into a prayer position. As the forehead rests on the mat, palms press together, fingers start to reach for the sky. Maybe they even start to point back behind you, bringing your thumbs towards the back of your neck. You can walk the elbows in towards each other or a little further away, whichever feels best. Think about lengthening through your spine as you draw your heart towards the floor. Breathe deep into your back body. Feel a sense of expansion with every breath. Begin to release the arms. Rise back up slowly. Find your tabletop position. The bolster is still in its place on your mat. Now you can come into this from a tabletop position or a downward facing dog. Whichever works for you. We're going to lift the right leg, turn the knee open to the right side. Step forward to the top right corner of your mat. You may take several steps to get there. You may have to move your bolster out of the way first. Whatever works for you to find that wide stance lunge. And then heel toe your right foot through center. Framing the right foot with your hands. Take the bolster, slide it back to the front of the left leg. You can have as much or as little bend in the left leg as you need, as long as you're feeling a stretch through the front of the left hip and thigh. The bolster can slide back and just add as a little bit of support underneath of the thigh to take some of the weight out of your body. Think about sliding the left hip forward, the right hip back. Squeezing the inner thighs towards each other as the outer hips reach out and back as well. Pressing the front of the left thigh into the bolster, feeling its support beneath you. The toes in the left foot can be tucked or untucked depending on what feels best in your knee. Can you maintain some weight in the big toe mound of the right foot? The longer you hold this, you may start to feel the weight tip over to the right. Keep the inner right thigh drawn in towards the midline, and the right knee pointing the same direction as your toes. And here we're going to start to heel toe the right foot over to the left. Lower the right knee down towards the right wrist, allowing the hips to settle on the bolster. If you have to, you can slide the bolster forward a little bit before lowering the hips down, ensuring that it's supporting the hips now, not the thigh. The right foot is over to the left corner of the mat, the right knee is to the right. Your hands are out in front of you as the left leg extends long behind. For pigeon pose. Even if pigeon pose is a practice that you typically do on the mat, see if you can use the support of the bolster here. Allowing the hips to stay even, left and right hip equal distance from the floor. To feel supported, allowing your body to really settle into this pose. Now, two options depending on what you're looking for in your body. You can stay here as you are, keep pressing the front of the left hip into the bolster as the right hip draws back slightly. Maybe you lower down onto forearms or all the way down to your mat. If you'd like to bring a bit of a stretch into the front of the left quad, you can start to draw your left heel in towards you. I like to use my strap here, even though it's accessible to reach my foot. I wrap the strap around my foot, bring it over the left shoulder so that I'm able to lower down towards the mat and rest my arms as I settle in. So again, it's not to say that one version of this stretch is better than the other. It's just a matter of what stretch you're looking for. Here we're still feeling that stretch into the right hip and glute. We're just adding a little bit of a stretch to the front of the left thigh. But it's also an option to keep your left leg extended. To be lower onto the mat, or lifted up with the heart open. Just choosing whatever variation works best in your body, depending on the stretch you're looking for today. See if you can settle into stillness. Resist temptation to fidget or squirm. Instead, turn your awareness to your breath. The gentle inhales and exhales. The subtle movements of the body with each breath. All the way down as slowly as you can. Start to rise up onto your hands, maybe releasing the left foot if you've drawn it in. You can either shift your weight onto your right hip and slide the right leg back behind you, or you can tuck your left toes, lift your left hip, slide your right foot back behind you, take a three-legged dog, reach the right foot high. Sink the left heel towards the mat, keeping equal weight into the right and left hands, and evening out your hips so that the right hip is not lifting up. Lower the right foot to the floor, find your tabletop. Take just a few sways from side to side, sending one shoulder to your hip and then the other. Find your neutral tabletop. Again, you can come into this from a downward facing dog if that gives you a little more space. Or from a tabletop, we're going to lift the left leg, turn the left knee to the left. Step forward to the top left corner of the mat. Take as many steps as you need. You can even use your left hand to move it forward. And once you're in that wider lunge, you can start to heel toe the left foot through center. Adjust your bolster however you need. Slide the right leg back behind you. And just settle into your lunge, making sure that the bolster is supporting the front of the right thigh, just enough that you're feeling the stretch without having to use too much muscle support to hold you there. And keep a long spine. Left knee is pointing the same direction as the left toes, and if you find the left knee is coming beyond the left ankle, it could be a sign that you can lengthen your stance a little bit. Slide the right leg back until the left knee stacks over the left ankle. Keep the right toes pointing directly behind you. They're not pointing to the left or to the right. More breaths here on this side. Keep that left knee drawn in towards the midline. The left hip draws back as the right hip draws forward. And from here, we're going to transition into our pigeon pose. So you can always shift the bolster forward a little bit if that's easier while you're lifted. Heel toe the left foot over to the right. Lower the left knee down towards the mat. Repositioning your bolster so that's supporting under the hips. Just watching here for any pain or discomfort in the left knee joint. Make sure your hips are fully supported. You can always place a small towel or a second littler bolster underneath of the left knee. Take a few minutes while you're lifted up to even out your hips. Press down through the right hip as the left hip draws back slightly. You can stay lifted here. You can bring your hands up onto blocks or onto a chair. Or you can start to lower down if you like onto forearms or all the way down onto your mat. Option as well if you have a strap nearby. You can draw the right heel in towards your glutes, either taking hold with your hand or looping a strap around it. staying lifted or lower down onto your mat. Using the strap to draw your heel in closer to the glutes, pressing down into the mat, into the bolster with the right hip, lengthening your spine as you fold forward. Making sure that you choose to do the same on this side as you did on the first. Staying even from side to side, so if you chose not to do the quad stretch on the first side, you're better to not do it on this one. Just accepting that it's normal that thoughts would come into your mind as you hold this posture. We hold a lot of tension, a lot of stress and memories in our hips. The longer we hold these postures, the more they start to creep up. So without judgment, without attachment, just accept their presence. Notice and acknowledge any common thoughts that continue to reoccur. Simply turn your awareness back to your breath, following the inhales and exhales as they move through your body. To rise back up if you're all the way down, releasing your foot however it works in your body. Tuck your back toes, lift your hips, slide your left foot back and lift it high for a three-legged dog. The right heel's reaching for the mat as you lower the left hip in line with the right. Lengthen through your spine. Lower the left foot, lower the knees, return to tabletop, and just sway your hips from side to side. Find your center, turn your bolster lengthwise on your mat. Big toes come to touch, knees go wide. Shift your hips back towards the heels. I'm going to settle the chest onto the bolster this time. Walk the fingertips forward and allow your head to come to rest on the bolster. And choose whatever gaze feels best in your neck. And if you are tight in the hips and you need a little more space, you can always bring a pillow, another bolster, a blanket, or a towel behind the knees. Come to sit on that item before lowering down. Just settle into this position. Let your body be supported by the props beneath it. Breathe space into your back body. The upper back. The mid back. The lower back and pelvis. Feel a sense of openness, expansion with every breath. And then surrender to gravity with each breath out. Remaining in stillness through your body, just slowly turn your gaze in the opposite direction. Just allowing your neck to open up in both ways. Invite your eyes to close and find stillness yet again. You can remain here in your child's pose for as long as you choose. Just witnessing the breath as it moves effortlessly through your body, sensing for the subtle rhythmic beating of your heart. When you do feel ready to get up and go, do so slowly and mindfully, rising up off of your bolster, going on with the rest of your day. This is with such gratitude that I join you here in practice today and always. Namaste.